graduation from Valparaiso University, I received a call to serve as a deaconess at Ascension Lutheran Church in St. Louis, Missouri. I would serve there from 1960 to 1964. I remember taking the train from Mason City to St. Louis. We went along the Mississippi River and there was flooding, so somehow we had to go on a whole track a long way, and I was about 12 hours late. But I was met at the train station. During those years, not all women had cars. In fact, quite a few women didn't even drive. The first couple of weeks, I walked from home to church. I lived with 3 other women, one a secretary at Lutheran Laymen's League, one a nurse at Lutheran Hospital, and one an artist at Concordia Publishing House. So here we were, 4 young women living in a flat together and serving in our first professional responsibilities. A parishioner sold me his car, a Ford Fairlane, and I learned to negotiate St. Louis traffic, which is no easy feat. I even learned to do the St. Louis stop, which is more like a pause. Being a parish deaconess in a 2,000-member congregation gave me many opportunities for ministry. The congregation had one pastor, Martin Henschke, and he and I shared all kinds of visitation and hospital and shut-in calls, as well as the ongoing ministry and leadership of committees and task force in the congregation. I remember making mission calls on the people who had visited. One evening, I tried to look kind of casual. It was pouring down rain. It was dark. It was Friday evening. I was knocking on somebody's apartment door and said, "Oh, I just happened to be in the neighborhood." Well, no matter how reluctant, I find and still find the joy of talking with people about Christ just a wonderful calling. This congregation was upper middle class or even lower upper class in the southwest part of the city of St. Louis. And my coming was, well, shall we say, had mixed reviews. I remember going to my first Women's Guild meeting, and at first I came in and said, "Oh, there's a new prospect," and they greeted me warmly, and then they found out I was the new deaconess, and they said, "Oh, we thought you belonged here." There was also a Lutheran day school with the congregation, and the principal made it very clear more than once that he didn't want a deaconess to come. But nonetheless, I soon began working with him and also with the school. I had a children's choir that I directed, and I also started a newspaper, a school newspaper for this kindergarten through 8th grade parish school. One afternoon, I recall working with some 8th grade students, and in relationship to journalism, we had a newspaper reporter from a St. Louis paper in to talk with the 8th grade students, and we were talking about how you discern if facts you've heard are true or not. And just at that moment, we heard news up the hallway from some people who had a radio on that John F. Kennedy had been killed. I know so many people remember the exact place that they were at that historic moment. And it did affect our whole parish, the determination, do we do regular things? How do you walk through this very difficult time? We had about 800 people in the congregation engaged in some form of Christian education every week. And we had teacher education for the teachers of all of these people. So once a month, every month, we had some meeting with preschool teachers, with elementary teachers, with junior high teachers, with high school teachers. And that was a wonderful opportunity for them to continue to grow. And to this day, I find that working with people who are going to be teaching the next week can be the most enjoyable experience for someone, because we grow because their questions are so pertinent. I also taught confirmation. Pastor worked with the children who were part of the parish school, and I taught the children who went to public school. Now, that formation every day in their Lutheran Christian faith was very important, but actually I found working with the public school children very exhilarating, because the questions they asked were so connected to the world in which they lived.